What's going on, beautiful people? It is I, your flying locomotive and faster than a speeding bullet SuperCliff, coming at you live with a brand new video. So with 2023 coming to an end, I want to talk about my 5 most anticipated shows for 2024. Now obviously I'm excited for a lot of shows. True Detective Night Country, The Boys Season 4, Shogun, but for some reason these 5 shows are my most anticipated. They're my most anticipated because they simply hit the spot, like a hostess. They hit all my nerdisms. Fantastic writing, comedy, adventure, it's all there. But before we continue on, if you are new to the channel, then smash that like and subscribe button. That way you guys never miss out on anything that happens on this majestic channel. So what are you waiting for? Let's be heroes, let's conquer the algorithm, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. Let's do this. Starting with number 5, we have Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3 on Disney+. Season 3 being the show's final season. Personally, I think this show is great. Yes, it's the weakest when comparing to shows like Rebels and Clone Wars, but that being said, The Bad Batch is still a fun time. From a Star Wars universe perspective, it's cool seeing how post-Clone Wars and post the rise of the Empire, how the clones are treated. Rather than treating the clones like droids who wear white helmets, the show continues to do what the Clone Wars did so masterfully. That is, giving the clones a sense of purpose and identity, along with nuance. How are the clones adjusting to a life without war, post-victory? How do they feel about the fall of the Jedi? And we see that through the eyes of The Bad Batch. Is The Bad Batch this amazing Star Wars show that's going to change the lore forever? No, but it doesn't have to in order to be good Star Wars. Because at the core of it, it's about The Bad Batch. It's about being a family in a galaxy where your place is in question. Number 4, we have the first entry to the new DCU, Creature Commandos by James Gunn. Now, I gotta admit, earlier this year when James announced the new DCU slate, I figured he'd start off with something like, Superman Legacy. Nope. Creature Commandos is a 7-episode series that will debut on Max, and it'll be the first DCU project to hit the gates. Obviously, I've not seen the show, but given how amazing the Guardians of the Galaxy movies were, the Suicide Squad, and personally his best in my opinion, Peacemaker Season 1, this show has James Gunn written all over it. I expect some insane bloody action, hilarious moments, but I also expect great writing, because whether it's a movie, a show, or a book, if the characters don't work, then shit hits the fan. Plus we have more Weasel. Greatness in the making, folks. Next up for the number 3 slot, we have Amazon Prime's FalloutSeries. Now, if this were to be released prior to HBO's The Last of Us, I wouldn't care as much. However, The Last of Us on HBO showcased, in my opinion, the template on how to properly adapt a video game. One of the reasons why The Last of Us was such a success was because the show didn't try to do its own thing while using the Last of Us title. Yes, I'm looking at you, Halo. How dare you?
Never again!
Legit, The Last of Us followed the source material, but more importantly, it understood the meaning, the heart of what The Last of Us story is about, that being love, and how we as humans react in terms of defending or losing what we love. Also, when you're playing a game, typically you're playing that said game story, for about 10 to 12 hours. In movie format, it's impossible to depict 10 hours of character, unless you're Zack Snyder, but I digress. Having a show not only allows you to have more time to sit with these characters, but it allows us a proper execution for their stories to play out. Now, of course, the Fallout show will have its own cast of characters. It's not going to follow a particular storyline. But again, if the show sticks with the sort of dark humor surrounding nuclear war and all the themes of the consequences that nuclear war brings, along with the struggles in a post-apocalyptic world, then this show can have the potential of becoming something special. Plus, when you have people who worked on Westworld, quality tends to follow. And by the way, Fallout New Vegas is the best, times 3,000. Moving on to number 2, we have The Bear Season 3. Now, I'll be honest, this sort of show is not something I'm typically watching most of the time, but holy shit, the writing in this show is amazing. Jeremy Allen White slaps in the show. It's basically about this guy, Carmy, who he plays, and he returns home to Chicago to run his deceased brother's roast beef restaurants. Carmy, who's a trained chef, sees the potential that this restaurant can have, and so he wants to make it better. The show is really good, and in its core, it's about trauma and how trauma affects our well-being, and you really feel that chaos, the trauma that our characters are going through, especially whenever we see the behind the scenes of the kitchen and how that all plays out, because if you've ever worked in the food industry, it sucks. This show is legit. Also, I'm going to give my flowers to the actor Ebon Moss-Baldrich. Yeah, this guy's amazing, and holy shit, Marvel Studios, if you don't cast this guy as Ben Grimm, you're messing up. The Bear Season 3 you can watch on Hulu. And finally, for our number 1, we have HBO's House of the Dragon Season 2. Now, as I've said many times, and I'm sure millions of others have said it as well, Game of Thrones Season 8 sucked. Granted, the show dipped in quality since Season 5, but holy moly was it apparent in Season 8. But yeah, Season 8, Game of Thrones, and everything related to Westeros came to a complete stop. I've never seen such disinterest in the franchise so fast and so abrupt. Like, I remember when House of the Dragon Season 1's trailer debuted, and it had no effect on me. I simply didn't care because the way in which, Season 8 ended. But holy crap, Season 1 House of the Dragon was phenomenal. That season felt like the Game of Thrones in its heyday. The characters were fantastic, the world of Westeros seemed bigger. No longer was the focus on House Stark or House Lannister. House Targaryen was at its peak, and House Hightower held power in other houses like House Velaryon. Also, the politics, the reasoning as to why characters were doing what they did, everything was fantastic. And now with the Targaryen Civil War, the Dance of Dragons starting up, shit's about to happen. God, I cannot wait for this show. House of the Dragon slaps. So yeah, as always, I'm your majestic sayer over at SuperCliff. And if you guys are new to the channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button, and also the notification bell so you'll never miss out on an upload. And so you'll always be kept up to date with your favorite top tier comics, shows, movies happening in this majestic world. Now tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions? What shows are you guys most excited for heading into 2024? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until the next video, peace. Giggity goo.